Hey, y'all. Welcome back to KeesCode, Love Unlocked. We are still in season 2, episode 7. We are moving right along. I would like to thank you guys for tuning in and watching. I have my lovely co host here with me tonight. And we also have a special guest for you tonight. So let's bring to the stage the lovely Miss Amber.
Hey y'all, hey.
Hey, what's been going on?
Girl, work.
Yeah, me too. I got a new job. Well, not a new job, I got a new position. So we are doing that.
Well, congratulations on your new position.
I
Mm-mm.
guess.
We celebrating everything over here, baby.
Yeah, I guess.
Uh-uh.
Thanks.
All wins is wins over here.
I'll take it. I will take it. So, we are going to be talking about bullying and the effects that it have on our youth. Today, I got a couple tips, messages, DMs kind of steering me in a direction that, people wanted me to kind of go in, and it's fallen right under my practice of healing her. So this is pretty ideal for me. Um, we do have a special guest tonight. So I'm going to give her a chance to get settled and get on before I introduce her. But I'm going to introduce her in our disclaimer. So when she gets here, I'll reintroduce her. But in the meantime, here we go. Welcome to Keys Code Locks, where we speak from the heart and not the handbook. Um, Tonight's episode includes conversations around bullying, mental health, and suicide, which may be heavy or triggering for some listeners. Please take care of yourself and pause if this gets too heavy. While this podcast often centers off of life experiences and real life conversations and honest reflections, tonight we're honored to be joined by licensed professional clinical counselor Siobhan G. Jones. Ms. Siobhan Jones brings professional insight to this important discussion. So, with that being said, this episode is intended for educational awareness and conversational purposes only, and will not and is not to substitute for therapy, diagnosis, or professional mental health treatment. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And if you are someone you love, need support, we strongly encourage in connecting with a certified mental health professional. If you're in a crisis or experiencing thoughts of self harm, which help is available here in the US, you can call or text 988, which is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. We are here to unlock love, spark healing, and start honest conversations, not to diagnose, judge, or replace the help you deserve. So, with that being said, let's right on into it. We want to talk about what is bullying? What does bullying look like? So, from a youth perspective, I think bullying is typically when a person is made to feel anything other than like good about themselves. Bullying comes in so many different forms. It is being an outcast, made to feel like an outcast. It's being talked about, picked on, forced into doing things that you don't want to do, all for the sake of other people's enjoyment, pleasure, or just to make you feel bad about yourself. So, I think bullying happens in school. It happened everywhere. It happened in schools.
That's what I was
It
about
happened.
to say. I feel like it happens everywhere because a lot of times, it come across as joking, as, oh, that's my friend, so they don't mean no harm. When in reality, your friend don't tear you down. Your friend gonna build you up. So
You about to see you going on. Talking all my bullet points, girl. You just I was trying to keep this in order, but let's forget it.
okay,
Let's go. Let's get into
no,
it.
because I can't find it. I was trying to type it in. Um, yeah, it's just like a lot of times, it don't even come across as that. It be they disguise it when they're young, so a lot of times they don't realize it until now they feelings hurt.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. I think oftentimes it is kind of downplayed. It start off as jokes that everybody's laughing at except for you, or
Except for you, yeah.
you try to
And
laugh it
then
off
sometimes
because
in the beginning you laugh too because all right, it was funny
yeah,
that first time, but now you
yeah.
gonna keep it going on. Let that go. Like it's not funny no more. Now you going too far. You reaching out. Like
Exactly. I think it is boundaries. It's when boundaries are crossed. So
mm-hmm.
when there's boundaries put in place, and yeah, it may be funny in the beginning, but when you notice that it's not funny anymore, it's like, okay, chill. Especially if you are supposed to be my friend. It's like,
Yeah, like all right, let's laugh at something else now. Like moving on. It's all right. It was
right.
funny. Let's move right along. Let's what's
Because I
next?
think
We
it's
ain't gonna
like
keep making me the
it's
butt of
a
the joke.
difference from laughing at a joke and being the joke.
Yeah, but look, we talking about youth, so a lot of times they don't realize when a person is laughing at them and not laughing with them.
Correct. Correct. So, I think just really trying to identify what bullying looks like. And I think it looks like something different for everybody, to be completely
Mm-hmm.
honest, because what one may deem to be being bullied, somebody else may not deem that. But I just think it's more so where you draw the line for yourself, and you are, you know how to identify what you feel as bullying is for you, and what you don't like, and what you are willing to create the boundary to say, this is what I'm not going to tolerate, and then kind of stick to that. But then it's also kind of like for people who have a hard time sticking to that, and sticking up for themselves, and just really deciphering what's bullying, what's joking, what's, like, how far is it? Because nobody want to, I think as a kid, you just don't want to be the person who accuse somebody of bullying, especially with it being such a big thing right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah, because you
a
don't
lot
want to seem like
of times they
snitching.
let it slide. Everything just kind of gets swept under the rug, and then you're left to internalize these feelings by yourself. You're left to deal with the aftermath of the jokes, and the
Uh-huh.
being forced into this corner, and just all of the things that come with being bullied. You forced to kind of deal with on your own and figure out what that looks like. So,
Yeah,
um,
man. Especially when it's like with the youth today, majority of their parents are young, and unfortunately, sadly to say that I see a lot, they do a lot of the bullying also.
I agree with that wholeheartedly, and I think that I said, like, this episode is bullying for youth, but it don't stop there. Like, I think for one, bullying goes. It starts with youth, yeah, and if it's not dealt with, or if it's not, or a person is not healed from that as an
Hmm.
adolescent, it triggers into
It
their
continues.
adulthood, and now
Absolutely.
you're a grown-up bully. So I'm a press pause on what I'm saying right now, because I do have Miss Siobhan Jones here in the building with us. So I would like for everybody to welcome our professional clinical therapist. Siobhan Jones to the stage. Hey, hey, hey.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey guys, how are you?
good.
That's
How you?
I'm well.
that's good. So we was just talking, we just got started. We were just talking about what bullying looks like to us. Like what do we think say how bullying is not only something that's happening with the youth, but it's also transpiring into adulthood. So that's where we are. And we just go
Yeah,
kick back into that.
yes. I mean I agree. I think bullying comes in all forms and fashions. It could uh be in childhood, also in adulthood. You can see bullying in the workplace. It just depends on what area you are kind of looking at.
Right. So let's see. I kind of got a couple things that I really want to kind of touch on. So we're gonna start with like the hidden effects and how bullying affects, I guess, the mind before it affects the behavior. So like some of the triggers, the things that people deal with, I think, mentally before it even becomes something that's physical, before they start lashing out physically, because I think it definitely triggers and affects how a person thinks before it starts to affect how they react and how they, move physically. So let's talk about that. Either one of y'all want to go
Um,
start?
well, I would say, it definitely affects the mind first. It changes who they are on the inside. It changes and it starts to show on the outside. Eventually, either they take on unfortunately sad behaviors or they take on bad behaviors and they in turn create another bully. Because now hurt people. So you did this to me, or so now I'm gonna go do this to the next person that I think is weaker than me. So
Right.
it's
I think so too. I think it do allow both of those aspects to play out, because I think you have some people where it do weaken them and it makes them like feel like this sense of hopelessness that, what if I wasn't here, what if, like kind of they kind of withdraw it and want to kind
Mhm.
of disappear. And then in other people it do create a monster. It creates a monster, a person who was like, okay, well, this is what this person is doing to get respect, this is what this person is doing to dominate the crowd. So this is what I'm gonna start doing. And then they find somebody
Mhm.
that's smaller, somebody that's younger, somebody that's less,
Mhm.
just more likely to be bullied, and now they become the bully because it makes them feel like they are getting the respect that they wasn't getting from these other group of people. So now you got two different people, two different, categories in which bullying affects them, completely different, like mentally, until it becomes something that starts to affect how they react physically, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I'm like, does that
It
make sense?
does. When I'm working with kids and I'm trying to explain to their parents um what you see happening, particularly like a lot of times when you start to see bullying behaviors manifest, it usually starts to happen in early adolescence, and like for the layperson you would probably start to see that in like middle school ages, probably like at around sixth grade. You'll see bullying behavior start to manifest. And typically what's happening is, and we all been through gone through adolescence before, that's when you start to see like a human being start to go through all those physical changes. And you see a little kid, they used to be that cute little kid, but then they start to have all those weird particular physical
Mm-hmm.
changes. And not only are they going through those physical changes on the inside, they're going through a whole lot of hormonal changes. So
Right.
so developmentally for a human being, it is the what I like to explain, that is the most difficult stage of life you could have for a human being, because it's the body is moving at a really, really rapid rate, and it's a difficult stage of life. And so what you see happening with kids is that they don't know what's going on. So they're trying to divert attention from themselves. So they don't have the
Mm-hmm.
coping skills to adapt to what's going on with them. So what they're doing is they're deflecting attention from off of them, and they're trying to project it on to somebody else.
Right.
And it's hard to try to explain that to little kids. And so you try to get them to understand, like, what you're going through with your peers are actually experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing, but y'all just picking on each other.
Right.
And that's what it is. But you got some bullies that are just stronger than others.
Yeah. I think it's like if it's not okay, so what about the ones who is like everybody's kind of experiencing the same thing, but then you have, I think, like where the ones that don't have the support or don't have the nurturing at home, they tend to be the bigger bully. They tend
Right,
to take it to the next level of, bullying, and like just, it intensify. And I think it's
right.
like when you are that type of bully, or you're getting bullied by that type of, it's easier to recognize when it's, an aggressive bully. But what about when it's a bully? What about when the bully is your friend? What
So,
about when the bully is your mama?
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
those
what
things.
about when a bully is somebody that's close to you, and it's like, what do you do at that point? Who you talking to, or how do you decipher, how to deal with that when the bully is your spouse, or your mother, or your friend, or I'm saying, somebody that you love and care about? How do you navigate in that space?
And I feel like that's the worst.
Yeah.
That make it the worst.
So those are like multifaceted issues. What you talking about, Key? Like, and like, so what, you know what I told people when I worked in a classroom, that was like one of my biggest case studies, because like when you work in a classroom, you can see all different types of behaviors. And so, what I can let you guys know is that everybody has a stress response. And so, those stress response are fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? And so, when I was working in a classroom, I could just sit back in the classroom and I could just point out the kids, like that kid right there that just will not sit down and shut up and was cussing everybody out. And I always had to put out the classroom. That kid was in fight mode all the time, right? It was always the kid that came to school that always was like this. They put their head down on the the desk. They most of the time they got bullied on, like, all the time. That's the
Right.
kid that was like in freeze mode. They shut down. Like, you could barely say anything to them because they were gonna shut down. That's somebody
Right.
who's in freeze. Um, so you got fight, flight, freeze. So the one who you say something to them and they be like, "Oh man, I'm ready to go. I gotta get out of here." That's your flight. You can't say nothing to them. You can't say nothing to them. They're ready to go. That's your flight right there. And I know you guys know adults like this.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
what I'm
so
over here
then,
thinking right now. Like, oh, I know that person.
yeah, right, right. And then your fine person is the person who's just always kind of like agreeing with everybody. They messing with somebody all the time. And you just like, okay. Or they just are like, that's your fine person, you know. And so we all know we all know these people, and we all have these characteristics too. We all have these coping skills. And so, or you have one that you favor to the most. And so that's what you got to think about. And these things come from somewhere in you, and they manifest from somewhere in you. And they manifest from your natural environments, the things that you guys just spoke about, like what you said. Like you were just like, okay, what if the bully is at home? Or what if the bully is your best friend, the people you hang around, and you don't even recognize those people are bullies? Like, that's the
Mhm.
problem. You know what I'm saying? So that means you don't even know how to form appropriate relationships. Or what if your mom's the bully? So that's a or your dad, because a lot of people are being raised by bullies.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
those are major problems right there.
Very
You
much
know,
so.
So those are multifaceted problems right there. You know what I'm saying? So how do you help people like that? What about people who are in those abusive relationships? Those are issues. And so it's just so many different problems. And then you're trying to talk to people, because we live in a bullying culture.
Mhm.
And
Our
so
president
then
is a bully.
Right, exactly. We got a president who just went to the UN conference, and that's usually a peaceful conference. And he went to that conference and exhibited bullying behavior. And the United States is never represented like that until we had this president. So that's a problem. So now we look different as a country. So
Yeah.
maybe some people in the country want to be represented like that, and maybe some of us don't. I know I don't, because
Right.
I'm not a bully.
Right.
I would rather us continue to look peaceful. I don't want us to go to war. So it just kind of
Ooh,
depends on
child.
where you
Okay.
are. You know, it just kind of depends on where you are. And so, but if you go back to children, it is hard to work with children if they're under all these influences. And maybe you're a professional like me, and you're trying to be an influence to them, but they always got to go back to their environment.
Correct. So if okay, as somebody who I can say, I would think that we're all pretty relatable in when it comes to our youth, you know.
Mhm.
So if you were, I'm as everybody, like if you could speak directly to the youth, what would you tell them in regards to being bullied or being a bully for that matter? Like, what would you tell the the kid that's sitting in, fine mode or flight mode that is being bullied and they don't know what to do? They hear you, but they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to ask for help. They're afraid to deal with this head on. What do you say to this person, or to the person that's bullying for whatever reason, because they were bullied, or because it helps to not be bullied to become the bully? What do you tell them? What if you could speak directly to them? What are we saying?
Um, I would say speak up for you. Anything that don't feel good, it don't feel right, it make you feel some type of way. They don't love you. They don't care. They not. That's not for you. And don't hold that in. Don't keep it. Speak up. Tell somebody. Tell anybody that listen. Tell everybody. Don't hold nothing in, because you don't never know when a person breaking point. So I don't want you to build that up in your chest. That pressure bust pipes is what they say. So we don't want that. And I would tell any kid, anybody that's doing that to you, they don't love you. That's not your friend. They don't care about you. You're not, it's not, no, that's not good. And you speak up. You speak up. You tell somebody, you tell anybody that would listen. If somebody is hurting you or harming you or treating you in a way that's making you uncomfortable, you speak up. Speak up. Don't hold it in. If they threaten you, say they're gonna do something, tell you, oh, you better not tell nobody. No, you tell. You tell. If they say they're gonna do something about it, you tell them they gotta do it then. Because I'm telling.
I agree.
Mhm.
I will say the same thing. If you are the kid that is being bullied, I also say to speak up. I also say to find somebody that you can trust, somebody who is listening, somebody that you know is riding for you, rocking for you, with you, and say something. You are only bullied as long as you're quiet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as long your voice is your biggest weapon, use it. So if you are somebody that is being bullied, then the beginning of the end for that is to literally use your voice, speak up, find somebody who is willing to advocate for you, if you can't advocate for yourself. And if you are the person that is being the bully, that just remember, especially if you were somebody who was once bullied, remember how it felt when you were when you were being bullied, I should say. You know what I'm saying? That you just, like Amber said, you never know what a person's breaking point is. You never know how far a person can go, or, how much they can handle before getting to that end. And who really want to be responsible for taking a person over the cliff?
Right.
Just think about the things that the actions that happens after, when everything is all said and done. Bullying may seem fun or funny at first, to the people that's being the aggressors, but to the person that's being bullied, it's not something that's fun to have to deal with. It's not something that's fun for the people that have to watch their loved ones being bullied, especially when it results into things that just becomes a lot more serious than just words. Words turn into actions, and that hurt more than people that just is, experiencing it in real time. That's what I would just say.
And to, I would say to the bully, now we know hurt people hurt people. This is true. But I also say tables turn and every dog had a day. So be mindful.
Now that's also
Facts.
right, and I think that that's a good point. Like, hurt people do hurt people, and like, if you ever come across and really talk to somebody who is a bully, you'll realize that they're not bullying for any reason at all. They're always bullying because they're trying to hide or mask something that's hurting them deep down inside. And that's what you'll always find when you start to kind of like um peel the onion. That's a term that we use, that therapists will use. You start to peel the layers of the onion. There's always something deep down inside that they're trying to hide, while they're trying to put the attention on to somebody else. That's all bullying behavior is. It's a projection of feelings and emotions that they don't want anybody else to see in them. So they're trying to project those feelings and emotions onto somebody else, which
Mhm.
isn't really a real thing. And that's what people don't realize. People are so hurt that they always want somebody else to feel their feelings and emotions. But you can never, nobody can ever feel the hurt and the damage that you feel on the inside. But it takes a lot of deep work to realize that. I mean, I've been bullied before in a whole lot of ways. I was bullied when I was young. And then as I got older, I found out that I myself, like, I could even admit, like, I myself grew up and I started participating into bullying behavior. And I didn't even know that I was being a bully myself, but I had to grow up and understand that some of my behaviors had turned into bullying behaviors. But that came from being bullied myself. And that was because it was a defense mechanism from being
Mhm.
bullied when I was younger. But we don't know and understand that until we start exploring and learning about ourselves. But you got to do work on yourself, and you got to learn how to be vulnerable and learn and understand, like, do I want to heal? Do I want to heal? Do I want to be a better person? Do I want to hurt other people? Is that my intention? And so do I want to grow as a person? It took for me for somebody to pull me to the side, an older person, and say, like, did you see what you did to that person? And I'm like, did I really hurt? I thought I was being funny. But even sometimes we think we're just being funny, and we don't know that we are truly hurting people.
That's what we were saying. Like, a lot of times bullying is start off as a joke.
Yeah. Somebody
So let's talk about like what the different levels of bullying. See? And it just depends on your response, and sometimes the intent is not there, but then other times that it is. So what about in them times?
But your response make it all the difference in the world.
Correct.
You're right, because you can always come back and redeem yourself.
Yeah.
If that's what
especially if you are not trying to be a bully. If you're really just, you might, like you said, think you being funny, telling a bad joke. We all do, but when a person acknowledges the fact that, hey, like, I ain't like how that felt. I ain't like when you did X, Y, and Z. I didn't like, and you're gonna either apologize and like, damn, I ain't, it wasn't like that. I wasn't trying to be like that. My bad. I apologize. Whatever that looks like. I feel like as long as you're able to do that, then that helps restore a person, and instead of making a person feel some type of way.
Listen, Key, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna be transparent, because I'm always honest and I'm always transparent about myself, because it's a part of my growth journey, and it helps to let people know that you can heal if that's something that you want to do. When I was a younger girl and a younger woman, I was not always a kind person. And so I might have thought I was, but I realized during my growth journey that I wasn't a kind person. And so sometimes you have to own up to some of the things that you've done. So I know for a fact that I have done and I have said some things to some people that was cruel. And for the sake of maybe getting a laugh, or for the sake of this gonna be funny, or whatever it was, I owned it. I did that. I did it. But without thinking about the consequences of how it was going to affect that person. But moving forward, as I look back on it, it was really cruel. It was cruel. Even like, what I'm saying, when you look back on it, it doesn't matter. Like, that was cruel. Like, and even though I might have been 20 years old, or whatever, it was cruel. You know what I'm saying? So there's some things that you see, you got to go back and you got to say, dang, oh my gosh, so I did it. There's some things that I had to go back and tell some people, like, I'm sorry, I apologize. That girl back there was not a full-blown human being.
Right. And she was going through her own stuff.
Yeah, she was a whole.
And it's a lot of people like that. And I think people need to understand, though, too, that bullying it's not just me coming to you right now in your face and, being all in your face. Because
right.
Let's talk about, I want to think the biggest bullying right now in 2026 is cyberbullying.
Cyber,
Like
yeah.
let's get into
See,
this bullying
I'm glad I
online.
wasn't a
You
part
know
of
what I'm
that.
saying?
I'm glad.
Me
Yeah,
too.
because
Me too.
this
Because
has
let me
taken
tell you, I
a
too.
level of bullying to a whole new level. Like they
Yes.
are bullying you on Instagram, on
And I
Facebook,
feel
on
like this is why
TikTok.
I go really hard to pay it forward, because I too was not the nicest person. I was not a very kind girl. I was not. The young me, that young me was not a nice girl. She was not. And this is why I try really hard now to pay it forward, because I'm not proud of that, and I just want to show. Not only I've talked to God, I pray and I ask for forgiveness, and I'm working on forgiving myself. But a big part of that is to just give, to show that, cleanse my heart, just to know, like, no, that's not who I am. I'm not that. Like, I am
Right.
this loving, caring, giving, sharing, open person. Like, I'm not that girl, like you said, Siobhan. That girl was not whole. That young lady was going through her own hurt. And what did I keep saying? Hurt people, hurt people. That young lady was a hurt young girl that was going through her own trauma. And in turn, she came out into the world and imposed it on other people.
Yeah, I think it's like
And I'm not
now
hurt.
it's so brutal that everything is recorded, everything is uploaded. That to me takes this bullying to a whole nother level.
And
It's
I'm so
when you
grateful
have not
that
only
I
your
wasn't in that time.
classmates, but the whole world watching you get
Mm-hmm.
into a fight. It make people not, back when we was fighting, it was like you fighting, win, lose or draw, you fighting.
You
But now
fight. And then guess
you got
what? You
the
fight
whole
your friend,
world
because
looking.
in 20 minutes, we about to walk to the store together anyway. We right back friends. I can forgive you because it might have been 7 people that just watched us fight. Now, 7,000 people just watched this happen.
70,000 because they posting it on every social media
Yeah,
platform.
like,
And,
so
and
it
now
just,
you got
it
the world
amplified
talking.
everything times 1,000. And it's just like, I feel like social media is the devil within itself. The
It,
entire,
it
all of
is.
it is like
It
devilish
is.
to me.
I work with so many young
It's,
ladies, and that's why part of what I do, especially when I get young ladies, I tell folks, especially when I get referrals in the one practice that I work in. I guess part of the journey that the Lord has me working on is they refer the young girls to me. And so I'll be like, oh Lord, they'll be like, oh, they got a young girl for you, and I'll be like, okay, Jesus. And I'm religious, y'all. Just anybody watching. So y'all hear me talking about God. So I'll be like, okay, Lord. So that's part of my ministry. That's part of my payback. And so but I take it because I know how far I've come in life. Because and part of it is because I used to be that young girl, and I know how to work with those young girls. And a part of my story is if a young girl like me can get to this point in my life, then I
mm-hmm.
know that these young girls can come out of their depression, their anxiety. They can come out of
They got
this.
so much more available to them. So they
Exactly.
absolutely
They can
can.
come out of this fighting every day. I get young girls brought to me because they posting naked pictures of themselves that,
I
or
don't
they
think they
don't be.
posting them of themselves. I think because
Other
Well, what it
people.
is,
I've
they
experienced
posting
like
it of other people, or somebody have posted it. They sent it to
because
somebody
they
and they
trusting
Mm-hmm.
sending
people
it
with these
with
pictures
their
because they
right.
are in this like low
This social
self-esteem,
media
It's
era.
social media.
like a
And we
space of
try to
social
do an education about it, but it's like the education doesn't matter to them. They
because they
still
don't
do it
realize once it's
anyway.
up there, it's up there. But I think more than even that, more than the social media aspect is the act, because a lot of times they're posing for these pictures. You know what I'm saying? Because they think that they in a safe space with this person,
Yeah,
and
they sent it to
they're
somebody they trust.
that they
And we
trust, and
talk about that too. We talk about
as
safe
soon as that
spaces.
person ain't no fallout, the first thing they want to do is they want to
They
expose
beat them up.
Exposed.
everything,
Yes, because we
That's
live in
vulnerability.
the
what we get
exposed
them after
era.
they beat up everybody in the school, and then they got a case
We
because they
live in
done
the
beat up
exposed era.
everybody in the school.
Because it extends into relationships. That's where the exposed era, it affects relationships too. Because you got people that sitting stuck in situations in relationships because they done, sent somebody something or did something compromising, and now you scared of what they gonna do. Is they gonna retaliate if you leave? Is they gonna tell somebody? Is they gonna send the receipts? Everybody wanna have receipts now. So it's like, it's just, that's the culture of what we living in today. Unfortunately, I don't like social media.
Yep.
But what I what's perplexing to me is
Okay, but
a
okay, so
lot
let
of
me get
this
into it. I want to,
education
because
comes
this is,
after
I
the
don't want
fact.
this to go too far.
Go ahead.
My connection don't seem to be too good, but I don't want this to go too far. I really want to touch on this part of this, which is the aftermath of the pictures being uploaded, the the social media bullying, all like what happens after that. So I think like when we get into these spaces of being publicly humiliated, and at a young age, you're not looking at how I can bounce back. You're not looking at what is going to happen a year from now. You're looking at the here and the now, the hurt, the pain, the
Mm-hmm.
embarrassment, the torture, everything that you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And that push people to their limits. So now you got a girl that was bullied. You got a boy that's already dealing with, suicidal thoughts. And now what happens when they act on it? What happens when now the suicidal thoughts that no one ever even knew about has turned into
Right.
reality. And now you're looking at it on social media after you just watched these exposing videos. Now you're watching on social media how that same person that y'all just exposed just killed themselves. They mama just found them hanging in their room, or they brothers just saw them blow their brain. And that's just not. I don't mean to be graphic, and I don't mean to be,
But it's
just.
the reality. This is the world that we live in. That is real. That's what's happening. Somebody done found them in their bed, OD'd on these pills, and they done did slit their wrist. Because how do you feel as a person that know you played a part? That was one of the biggest things that changed me. I won't say, I ain't gonna, try to take the blame, but I do know that someone who was a joke in school, that did become the butt of a lot of the jokes in high school, unfortunately chose their own demise. And that was very hurtful for me. Very, very, very hurtful. That was mind boggling for me. That did me a lot of ways, because it was like, I hope my comment wasn't one of the ones that was replaying in the last moments. You just never know what a person is thinking and when too much was too much. So it just,
Exactly.
it just made me want to slow down and think, and consider things before I let it out. Because once you let it out there, you cannot take it back. You said what you said.
Yeah, and
And
I really, really believe that bullying is one of the number one reasons
me
for
too.
suicide.
Me
I
too.
really, really
Because
believe
think
bullying
about it.
is
What
the
have they always said
biggest
since we was
contributor.
kids? They said this next generation after us was going to be weaker but wiser. They have all this technology, all these things that makes them wiser, but they're a lot weaker than us. Their skin is not tough. They cannot. And so if people were doing this way back when our parents were younger, think of how bad it has gotten now with so much more things to throw it in your face. At least back in the day, 9 times out of 10, you could go home and get away from it for tonight. And I'll deal with that again when I go back to school or after school and whatever the case, when I bump into this person. But you had that little break where your mind could reset and you could at least try to collect yourself. Now you can't get away. It ain't going nowhere. It ain't sending it around. It's on every app. They sending it to their friends. They sharing it. Now they texting it to your phone. They sending it to your mama phone. Like, you can't get a second. So then it's like, you know what? If I wasn't here, all of this would stop. And that's how a lot of them feel. And unfortunately, it's like, they don't realize how now you have caused so much pain on the ones who do love you. All they looking at is their pain stops. I can't take this no more. My pain has to stop. I can't do my pain. Y'all can figure out y'all pain.
I think a lot of that comes to play because in those moments, I would assume that that person feels alone, because a lot of times they are keeping that, they're internalizing those feelings.
Yeah, because most of the time when the person that say, I'm here for you, they ain't bullying on you. How you here for me? What you doing? Because you ain't stopping them. And they ain't picking on you. You don't feel this. So, yeah, you can relate. You might feel some kind of way because as a parent, you might feel some kind of way. You don't want nobody to hurt your kid feelings or make them feel that type of way. But at the end of the day, it's not you. You don't know what that feels like. It's not you.
But, okay, so as a parent, what do you do? Like, okay, if you have, like, how do you respond to that? If you have a kid that you see that might be withdrawn, if you see, you know what I'm saying? Like, what, I guess I'm asking, what are the signs that we as parents or teachers, or like, what are the signs that we should be looking for? I think it's really, really, really important when dealing with kids
to really know your kids,
or like really teenagers or young adults.
It's really, really important to really know them. Like, we all in their business, we all in their face. Our parents used to say, I ain't one of your little friends, but in reality, no, I'm your friend. You could trust me. You could talk to me. I want you to be my friend. We got limits and there are barriers. And you're not going to, handle me as them. But I'm your friend. Trust me as your friend. Talk to me. Trust me. Come to me. And I like to believe that I built a relationship with my children to where when one of mine was going through a situation like that, I was able to see it. Because I saw the change.
And so when we start seeing these, like, because I want to know exactly like how you handling or how you would suggest handling a already fragile child, or already, like when you get to that point where you start seeing changed behavior, when you get to that point where you start seeing that your child
Address it immediately. Get to the bottom of it, and you can't be scared. You gonna have to. It might be some people got to get called out, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I would say stand by your kid through thick and thin, no matter what. If you cancel him, you cancel me. I don't listen. This is what it is.
So I agree with that too. I do believe that when you are dealing with a child who has any type of mental aware, like mental illness or any type of mental things going on, that you have to kind of pay extra close attention to them when you are.
But even the ones that don't, you still have to pay close attention, because
I mean, and I agree with that. But when I say mental health issues, I mean like the ones that are already maybe suicidal.
No, absolutely, because
are depressed, this fighting depression. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like those are, because I'm not gonna say typically, in my opinion, because I'm only speaking from a level of opinion. In my opinion, I think that a person that suffers from depression has a higher rate it has a higher what I'm trying to say, it's a higher.
It's already a risk factor.
Yes, so I think that they have a higher chance of committing suicide than a person that don't suffer from depression. So Absolutely. When I say like the people that's battling those type of triggers and those type of illnesses, I think we got to pay like close attention to them, especially when things are starting to shift, when the behaviors are starting to change, when the attitudes are starting to flare, when, like those type of things are what we should be paying attention to. I guess that's what I'm trying to ask is, what are the behaviors that we should be looking for when dealing, especially with kids, teens, young adults that may be suffering from depression or, bipolar disease, or, like those type of things, or just regular for that matter.
So
What are some signs that as a parent, what should I be
so
looking for? I got
so
teenage
you
kids
so
who
if
are
you so
living in this world.
So if you're worried about a loved one who could possibly be suffering from issues of mood, because that's what you bringing up, because we all suffer from issues of mood, it's natural, but when you are talking about extreme mood, where it could go into a clinical realm of like a clinical realm of extreme depression or extreme anxiety, or if you talking about, it could be like wavering back and forth, um, or what you want to look out for is my loved one withdrawing from everybody? Are they sleeping too much? And are you want to look for quality of life issues? Is my loved one eating properly? Are they sleeping properly? If they go to work or they go to school, are they achieving those things? Because those are quality of life things. Like watch and see if they're able to achieve the things that they supposed to be doing. All human
Right.
beings
Okay.
need to eat, sleep, and drink water. If your loved one is not eating, sleeping, and drinking water, they are interfering with their life. So you know something is wrong, right? So right there, you know that you need to take them to the doctor. And then you need to talk to the doctor about, like, something is wrong. Like, I don't know what's wrong. They've been, and you need to monitor how many days have they been like this. Because as a clinician, if they were brought to me, and if you take them to their PCP, we are both going to be asking the same questions. How long has this been going on? And
Okay.
what's, and what's been happening around them? Like, what's been causing this? Now, and it's some deeper questions that I would ask the individual, but for me to dig to find out about whether they're getting bullied or not, that would take a relationship building thing to find those things out. But the real thing is, how is this affecting their life? You know,
Okay.
that's what you really want to know. Are they capable of holding a conversation with you? Are they talking to you? And I think it's right. Like, people really, like, I think people are getting out of the habit of checking in with their loved ones because we on our phones too much.
Mm-hmm.
You like
Mhm.
I was just talking to some parents today about self-injurious behavior or cutting and suicidal ideation. And so just to give them clarity on what they needed to do with their kids if they were seeing this, because they were having a back and forth about what they needed to do and what it actually was. So it wasn't something that was happening right now, but the parents were having a back and forth about if this was going on. So I was letting these parents know what they needed to do if this was going on. And I told them, if if you have a child and you suspect that they are saying that they are participating in self-injurious behavior, or they give you an inkling that they have suicidal ideation. As a clinician, we don't take any of that lightly. We will tell you, you need to take your child to go get to either see their PCP, or you need to take them to the hospital, because what we view, that there is nothing that's not serious. A child can be scraping themselves and they can hit an artery. And
Right.
we don't view suicidal ideation as somebody just looking for attention. Somebody can, so what if they're just looking for attention? They can make a mistake and look for attention and kill themselves.
And I think
Is
that's
that
what a lot of parents don't
they do?
understand, because
Yeah.
a lot of times that is the parents' response. I've
Yeah,
heard
and
this,
that's what the kid ain't mean to
especially
do
in
it for
Black
real.
household, that it's like a parent don't believe it until it's too late. It's always, oh, they just looking for attention. Oh, ain't
But a
nothing
lot of
wrong
times
with
them kids, I don't think be
nothing wrong
meaning to
with
really
her.
do that. They just be wanting to shake up something, so like she said, get attention. They want somebody to pay attention. So
Yeah,
if
but
I make
they'll
everybody
kill
scared,
themselves
but that
though.
scare went too far, and now
They'll kill themselves.
But
I
the,
don't
Because
the
really think.
we
so for
have
me
so many
is,
kids. We have so
why
many
is it
kids. They
wrong to
take
want some attention though? Like, why is
it
that a bad thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, for a parent to be
is
like, oh,
not.
she just looking
It's
for some
not.
attention, give her some. Give
Yeah,
her some attention.
If
Because
your
why the
child,
hell do she gotta take such extreme measures to get attention from somebody who should be paying her some attention anyway?
anyway,
So it's
that's
like,
my whole thing. You should be paying attention to her
give them
anyway.
the attention that they're crying for. That they're searching for. Why is that a crime for a child, a teenager, a young adult to crave attention? Especially when,
right?
no shade, no tea, but a lot of these grown ass women is craving attention from men.
Period.
So
Come
why is
on,
it a
clock it.
crime for your child to crave your attention? I don't think it should be.
Especially from
It
the people that's
shouldn't.
supposed to be building them. Especially from the people that's supposed to be building them and shaping their mind and shaping their heart and teaching them who they are and what they stand for and what not to stand for and what not to accept. So if you ain't paying her no attention, then how she supposed to know? That's where they go and learn somewhere else, and then that be what you don't want.
I work with kids, and by the time
That part.
I have kids that and young ladies, by the time I find out that they are cutting themselves or scraping themselves, they have cuts and slits all the way up their arms, their
That's
neck.
so hurtful.
And it's hurtful. And so, but instead of the parents being fearful, they're embarrassed.
Or angry.
Because I see that a lot in our culture too. The pride thing, we gotta stop that, y'all. And I feel like it's Black History Month. I can say it. Hey, put that to the side. That pride, our pride is killing us, man.
Pride
It's
is
taking
killing
us
us.
down.
Pride is killing a lot of people, and we see it all the time
It's taking
in
us
the counseling
down.
office. Pride is killing
It's
a lot of
keeping us from
people.
being good parents. It's keeping us
Hmm.
from being good sisters and brothers and family members. It's keeping us from showing up for each other, the ones that love each other. Like, man, pride, man,
I had a young
that
lady,
shit down.
so
That shit is a
she
drug.
had other issues, but she was wearing her hair like covering up her neck, right? So, and her parents, like she was 16, right? So, and I'm just like, y'all not. Now I know what 16-year-old girls do. And this
Absolutely.
girl was boy crazy. Okay. And so I'm like, you guys aren't gonna ask her to pull her hair up or back or anything. So her mom and dad left out the office because we had a family session, and I said, let me see your neck. And so I looked at her neck. She had sucker bites all over her neck. She had like long curly hair. She had sucker bites.
Yeah,
And
but
I
see,
was just in the office with her mom and her dad. And she just
And they
looked at
know.
me. And just bad it
And
happen.
they
But
know
they're in
as
denial.
parents.
They're in
Yep,
denial.
that's
Yeah,
exactly
because
what it
at
is.
16,
You're in
I'm still
denial. You
all in
don't
my
want to
kids'
address
face.
it because you
Me
don't want to
too.
address it.
Now,
Listen,
see, my kids will tell you to this day, even though all of my children are adults, they are
mine
all
too.
adults. Almost every last one of them can legally buy alcohol. My kids are all grown, but I am very much still in their space. They always ask me, "Do you mind? Can I get a little space? I'm grown." I be too much in my at 16. I was too much in their space, too much. I'm very invasive. I'm very invasive. My friends can't have a sucker
Period.
bite, and I
And
don't
I
know
think
about it.
it's. I don't think it is even like. I mean, some of them do give their kids way too much space, but I think a lot of times it's just easier to not deal with it because dealing with. I mean, making yourself aware makes you aware. Like you have to now be aware. And now what happens
Yeah,
after that? So
because you have to deal with it. You got to talk about
exactly,
it.
but
You got to
pretending
make
like it's not
some
happening makes
boundaries and
you
some
not have to
parameters.
deal with it. So it just you can.
And you know what else, Key? Then the parent becomes responsible. Then they
Yep.
gotta deal. Yeah, then they
So I think
gotta
that's what it be. It's not the necessarily like, oh, I don't know what's act like you don't know what's going on.
exactly. Exactly. And I think that's what the real issue was. And when her parents left out of there, I told her I was the one who had to talk with her about I told her, I said, you need to be careful. You need to be careful. Whatever you're doing, you need to be careful.
And somebody who respects you wouldn't do that to you. That's not
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we had all
That's
those
not okay.
conversations. We had all those conversations, but she knew I was gonna have that conversation with her because she
That's
knew how
not
we
okay.
talk.
And do not allow nobody to mark you
To
And
by
be
nobody.
doing
oddly
that, why
enough,
are you
she was
letting that
probably
happen?
anticipating it. She was probably anticipating it, and she probably was, she was looking forward to it
Probably
because
was for real,
even
Key.
though
She probably was looking forward to
because
talking to you by
a lot of
herself
times
without her
those
parents.
kids they want that. I
Yeah,
ask this
because she
question
see
all
that
the
they
time
not
to
interested. So
people.
let me go in here and talk to somebody who gonna talk to me, who gonna listen to me, who's gonna hear me, and who's gonna give me some feedback instead of brushing me off. Because sometimes I need to know what's my next move, what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to feel about this, what should I do? But I
Why
And
can't
you
if
even
you
gonna
talk to
let
my
this
parents.
young
like
man chew your
I've
neck
asked
up?
young girls, I ask everybody the same question. I ask y'all, I ask young girls all the time though. If you had the choice of living a structured life with rules and or a free life where you can just do what you want to do all the times, they might think about it, and on the surface it look like, yeah, I want the freedom, but when they really think about it, they always choose structure. They always choose structure over freedom because it gives them the certainty that their parents are concerned. It gives them the certainty that their mamas, they care about what's going on with them. They can't just,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't one of them. And it's like they understand that when you actually raise that question and they really have to sit in it and figure it out, like, damn, every kid want to feel like they want to be grown. They want to do what they want to do. But when you actually have to lock into that question and answer it from a real, substance, a place of substance, what would you rather have? And every time, I promise, they always say structure. They always say that they appreciate, even though it don't seem like it, they appreciate the parents that have rules, the parents that don't let them come
Absolutely.
and go. Gives more,
Absolutely.
I don't want to say more quality, but
It does. It gives
it
them a
gives a
better
better
quality
quality.
of life. It
Structure
does.
is
It
You
does.
develop a better quality of life. Let's just stick to the facts here. We ain't never sugarcoated. We don't do that. We real raw, and this is what it gives a better quality of life. It does. It makes
Listen,
you appreciate things more.
listen, when I went off to college, I was so behind. I will never not tell my story. It took me a while to catch up, okay? I got checked several times.
I think there is a such thing though as healthy balance. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Absolutely.
not nobody wants to live a life that's so structured that they have no adaptability, like they can't adapt to outside life. No, that's not even, to me,
Yeah,
that's
I don't
prison.
want to
That's
sign
not
up
even
for the
that's
military.
beyond structure.
I don't want to sign up for the
Right.
military, but I don't want to live in the jungle either.
Right.
Period.
Right. It's
So
nothing
give
wrong
me
with
a nice healthy medium.
right. It's nothing wrong with like knowing that, like you said, like knowing somebody is looking out for you, knowing somebody is checking in on you. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like you need that. You
And it
need
helps you to develop the comfortability to know that in turn I can turn to this person when something is not right, when I need something, when I feel some kind of way, when I just need to know, help me. What's my next move? What should I do?
mm-hmm.
Guide me. Even if you don't
And
just walk
I
with
think
me,
that's what
listen to me.
how that really helps to eliminate some of those things in the end when kids get that pressure of feeling like they backs up against the wall. Typically it's because they
Mm-hmm.
don't have that person that they can go to. They don't have a sounding board. They don't have somebody that's riding for them, because I promise you, when mine's call, I don't give a damn what's going on, baby. Guess
Baby,
I'm going to figure that shit out. Whatever that looks like, I'm gonna figure it out. Oh,
by
you ain't
any
feeling.
means.
Oh, what's going on? Because I'm looking at you and you ain't looking like you need to be looking. What's up?
And
Oh,
it's
nothing. Okay, well, tell me what's something else, because that's not working today. We riding, we doing it all together.
no
Know
matter
that.
what.
Right.
You know, my mother
Right.
used to always say, only hell or jail gonna stop me. And when it came to her kids, and she meant that, and I tell mine that now. If you need me, I'm coming. And only hell or jail is gonna stop me from getting to you. That's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's
Yeah.
it.
And you know, one of the things I try to impress upon people, especially like kids and like even adults who dealing like with bullying, like because we don't always, we're not fortunate to like stay in our safe spaces, right? Like in our homes with our parents or with our
Mm-hmm.
families. So then you got to go back to school, right? And so you got to set up a plan for them. So what's the plan? So
Baby,
you got
listen to me when I tell you. My daughter told me she got into something with somebody, and the first thing that the person said was she ain't gonna do nothing but call her mama. And I
mm-hmm.
don't give a damn if you clean across the country. Yes, call your
Call
mother.
me.
I'm glad that
Right.
everybody who know what type of time we on. Yes, call me for
Right.
whatever it is. Call your mother.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I
That's
am
it.
going
That's
to
it.
be
Yeah.
your judge, your jury, your lawyer, your doctor. Call your mother.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's what you set up plans and then you designate like safe people. Like who can you contact your mother? Who's the safe teacher? Who's your safe teacher in the school? Who's your safe or who's the counselor you can go to their office? Like who are those people you can go to? Who and
In case I remember, yep.
you gotta teach kids like who are your real friends? Who are safe friends?
Mm-hmm.
Who are those friends who not talking about you behind your back? Like who are the kids that who go to the library, who you read books with, like or who play the same games you play, not the ones that you trying to hang with because it look like they the cool people. Like who are the ones who really the ones who like and do the
Who gonna
stuff
walk through that field
you
with you when
do?
you gotta walk through a neighborhood
Right,
that you ain't from? But that's your
right,
only way to get
right.
home. Who finna walk through this field with you?
Like
That's
who,
that's
yeah,
that's your friend.
you have to talk to them about like who are the real ones who are really like this, because sometimes kids, it take a minute to help them identify like
Mm-hmm.
who are the really safe people in your life, because
To me,
kids
it's
don't
more
know.
than that though. It's more like it's also not the ones that's there, but who are the ones that is going to stay solid even when y'all do fall out? And then what does that look like when you fall out? Because for me, is don't give the same person too many chances. And I know
Mhm.
everybody deserve grace, but everybody's also given discernment, baby. Don't get the same person the same chance more than once or more than twice, because at some
Yeah.
point, uh, you gotta show people gonna show you who they are, and it's up to you to believe them. So don't
Yeah.
Yeah, and you teach
somebody your
them that that's
friend,
not, maybe
and
that's
then they
not your
betray
friend.
you, and now and now because you think that they're your friend,
But
that
if you keep doing the same thing to me, you're not my friend. Because why would you keep doing that to me? You don't mess
but
with me.
that's
You're
the
not my
thing.
friend.
a lot of times that we living in a world where you might not be my friend, but I might be your friend.
Exactly. So
So
in that
I
sense,
think as long as in my mind, I'm thinking we friends, not because it's I'm not grasping the concept that because
right,
I'm
and that's
thinking we
why it's
friends and you
important
not
to
my
be all
friend.
in their space, all in their business, all in their who you talking to, who is that? Hey girl, hey, what's up? What's going on, girl? Where your mom and them at? What y'all be doing over your house? What's going on? Because
No, for real,
listen,
because I don't want you. Me
I guess in my
personally,
kids' space. Do you hear me?
I want exactly, and I am going to tell my kids, my son and my daughter, like that. This ain't it. She
My
ain't it.
25-year-old, my boy is about to turn 25. My first kid is about to turn 25 this calendar, like real soon, real soon. And he always be like, "Lady, I am a grown man. Can you get out of my business? You ain't got no business. Don't belong to me. Who you talking
Baby,
to?
because you ain't gonna never be growner than me.
You ain't never not gonna be my little baby. I don't care nothing about it." He keeps saying it. I don't care nothing about 25. Yep, very much. Yeah, and yep, I got a 25-year-old. There's that.
You ain't gonna
But
never be growner than me. So I don't want to hear that.
other than
Nope.
that,
And
I'm
everybody
all.
want to be
This is
grown.
my
It's
business
time to be
too. So
grown.
what's
Nope.
going on? I'm all in. I do. I'm very invasive. I'm like that with my
Me
sister.
too.
I'm like that with
I gotta
everybody
kiss
in my
my
life.
baby before she go to work.
Okay, I'm like that with my sister. I'm like that with my friends. I'm that person. Hey, who is you? What's going on? What you? I need to see your face. I need to pick up a vibe from you. I need to see what you be into, what you be talking about, how you be thinking, what you be living like. Because if you ain't right for my person or to be around my person or in a space, I'm gonna speak on it, and I will want my loved ones to do the same for me.
Right. That's how I feel too. I only want people around me and I only want people around my kids. Like she was saying, you have to designate like your safe spaces for your kids. So for me, I am the type of person who, if you don't fuck with me, you can't fuck with my kids because you cannot convince me that you care about my kids enough if you don't fuck with their mother. Like to me, that's just
Baby, let me tell you a
so
little something about my
diabolical.
three the
Like,
hard way. Let me tell you something, baby. If you don't fuck with me, my three don't fuck with you. And they gonna make it
period.
very clear. No, they
Period.
gonna make it very clear. Them
And
three
I
the
think
hard
that
way,
I think that's really like a
they
thing
roll with their
because
mama and
when
they
you
down.
when you're designating those safe spaces and the people that you know, I need to know that despite anything, if my child call you, you're coming like as
You
if your
coming,
child called
regardless of how you feel about me, where we stand right now. I don't care about none of that. You show up for my kids, you always got my love and respect and support. That's
you.
just
Period.
that. So
And I think that that's a big thing. And
yeah,
to me, it's like you can't wait until the shit hit the fan to show up. You know what I'm saying? You can't be somebody who's never supported a child, and then the minute some shit jump off, here you come. Like, why are you here?
but see, that's the thing. That
What
go
are
with the
you
saying.
doing? What are
What
we
they
talking
say.
about?
But what that go with the saying? I catch you on draft day. Don't show up when I done beat the odds and shit got great. Now it's draft day, it's signing day, and you show up. No, I believe. Watch out. We don't know you, cuz.
Yeah, because that's mm-mm. I need to know in advance that in the case of an emergency, this is who you are going to
Don't come
be able.
over here. Yeah, don't come over here trying to act like you. So no. It's who there when I can't be. It's who there when I'm unavailable. It's who there when I missed my mother missed her phone call. I ain't got time to call her back. I'm calling the next person because this
Right.
one gonna answer.
And I need you to show up the way you know I will show up. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't hesitate. Don't take your time. Don't call a million other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, show up the way I would show
I
up. Because if I fuck with
I
you
would
and
like to
we
believe
locked in, I'm
that
showing up the
I'm
way you
grateful
show
enough
up.
for my children to have a real village and they have a nice size
Right.
village. I'm
That's what.
very, very grateful for that.
Right.
Um, they, I'm when I can't be grateful enough. I can't express my gratitude enough for the people that show up for my children. Like, and it's being
But
raised by the black sheep and taught that you are the black sheep. it does a lot on your mental. So when you see things like that, it does help with your healing and your growth, because it helps me to see that, okay, well, even if people feel this way about me, they still got love for my kids. So I'm cool with that. I take whatever you feel about me. You loving on my babies, all right, you good with me. I don't really care about the rest of that. So it's like I'm very, I can't express enough gratitude, like I said, for the people who I would like to believe in any instance, every time, all the time, not just one time.
But to me, that
So
and that goes back into being a bully, though. As an adult, as a grown ass person, how are you not okay with a kid? How are you? How do you have an issue with a kid?
it's so
You
unfortunate
are
that
a
it's so
But
many
that,
bully.
people out here
but
like that.
but
Yeah.
that's people who don't have, they don't have self-awareness, they don't have self-growth, they don't, they have not worked on themselves. Anybody, but I've seen it, like I've worked in all kind of environments. I
I,
have definitely seen it. I've worked the
like I
right.
said, I've been the parent
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
I've been the
yeah.
parent of it.
I've seen that.
Me
I worked
too.
at high schools. I seen a
You know,
grandmother come up to a high school and fight with her granddaughter.
absolutely, and will, and will,
But it was
and
to me
will,
it was a trifling shame. I was just like, oh my lord.
and
Because
grandson.
sometimes we
Shout out
we
to
forget
grandson,
to
because
be
they're my
parents
son.
first, but
Uh-uh.
I
But
think
this,
I'm speaking more or so for adults that interfere into children's things. You know what I'm saying? Like
but it happens
sometimes,
a lot, and so
That's
this
what
the
I'm
thing.
talking about.
Even
sometimes
when
These
these
adults
adults,
separate
kids,
children, because this the
sometimes
thing. When
these
adults
kids do
make
be testing your
differences,
gangster though.
when adults make differences in children, because you know, like I said, I have a child that went through these different experiences. And one of the things that it hurt me so bad, he was very young. And he came to me and asked me why everybody like his other siblings, but not him. They get invited to the birthday parties. They want, people would let them spend the night individually, but he would get singled out. And, because people would think that his mental abilities didn't allow him to realize that this was happening.
Right.
And, the thing is, due to the safe space that I created for my children, a lot of things that they didn't say to other people, they would talk to me about all kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So when he brought this to my attention and he felt this way, I really didn't realize that I was just being, first of all, I was a very young parent, very young with 3 children. So it would be times when somebody asks for one and I'd be like, yeah, go ahead. Cause that's one I ain't got to worry about right now. I ain't even look at it like, but then, all right, now somebody else called, they want the other one. But now at the end of the night, it's just me and you. And this is so often, but I don't pay no attention. One, I'd rather you not go places so it doesn't bother me, but I didn't realize that it bothered you.
Right.
I'm fine with you being here with me. I don't want you to go nowhere. I'd rather you stay here with me, because people do have valid points as to why they feel this way. But to treat a kid and make a single out of child like that, that's whatever. We're not going into that.
I know, and that makes me sad when you talk about that, Amber, because I never realized that that was happening to him, because I
Yeah.
never did that with him.
No, you didn't. But this is also why you are always one of his safe spaces. And even what he got going on right now, anytime he calls, he always say, "What's going on, with my auntie? You talk to my auntie? How she doing?"
Yeah, because I'm still, we would have him, and wouldn't have the other ones. That's
You
what
are
I don't
considered a
understand.
safe space for him, though. You are also a place that I was comfortable with him being. Due to everything that he had going on, I wasn't comfortable with him going places. So, like I said, it didn't bother me. I was fine with it. I didn't even know it was a problem, because
Me
I don't
Right.
either,
want you to
because
go.
to be honest to Amber, then this is the honest to goodness truth. If you look at each and every one of our kids, all of our kids have some kind of issue. All of our kids do. So
I
that's
mean,
why I don't understand it, whether it be medical, whether it be social, whether it be emotional.
with all of that, they are all adults now, and it's all neither here nor there. It's just the point, like, I had to start being like, well, you know what? I got 3 kids. So if all of them can't go, can't none of them come. Like, it's 3 of them, and it's 3 the hard way. And I
So
really started drilling it.
I know people who move
Like, I really started drilling that in them to the
it's
point
all or
where they
none.
started to realize it. Like, they started to see it, and they didn't, now his siblings is looking, and they like, oh, yeah, no, you feel the way towards my brother. I ain't coming over. I'm cool. Y'all go ahead. I'm good. Don't, because it's
And I think
us.
I think it do become important to raise your kids to know that they are their unit. Like,
Yeah, like
y'all
I
are
have taught them,
together,
y'all stand together, even if y'all got to ride against me and your daddy, y'all stand together. It's 3
Yep.
the hard way, no matter what. I don't care who, what, when, or where, or why. It's 3. It's 3. Y'all 3 is 1.
But my kids are like that too. And one of my
Absolutely,
kids is
because
not
they was
even my
taught
natural child, but my kids is 3 the hard way. And that's
as
how
they
they
should
are.
be, as they should be,
Mm-hmm.
I think
as
that,
they should be.
I think that
That's
is
what
so
it is.
important, especially with
Mm-hmm.
like now, because it's so many people that's so divided in
Mm-hmm.
family, and then with like the foundations of the families not being here anymore, and it's falling down on
Yes.
people who not ready for that type of responsibility. That
Mm-hmm.
is one of the biggest things that's leaving the family. The structure of family is the commitment to each other,
Yeah.
being
And you
solid
over here, you
amongst
chit
each
chatting
other.
and
So
you kicking it with somebody that could sit here and tell you they don't like your sister or your brother, and you gonna sit here and dap them up and baby. When I tell you I'm so my sister about baby, it ain't because if you got an issue with her, all I'm gonna tell you, hey, well, let's go and cash that in, and I'm gonna figure out when I talk to her later why this just went down. But I'm gonna take care of that for her right now because you was comfortable enough to tell me that you had an issue with my sister. So let's go on and let me solve your issue for this. We're going to squash the issue right here, right now. So you don't have an issue no more. Because obviously that's a lot of pressure and I want to get that up off you. So let's relieve you of this issue right
and you
now.
know what?
And
And
when I
I love
talk to
that
my
for
sister
you.
later,
I
I'm going to
really
find
do. I
out
love
why.
that for you, and I love that for everybody that feel like that. And unfortunately, there are people that do not have that experience, and
It is.
Baby, you can't tell me nothing about, or my brother neither. Nah,
It
one of
is
mine.
no, but you
moving
know
right
what?
along.
You right, Key, in it because it's a lot of people out here. So it's a lot of people out here who don't have a village because I work with them and I be trying to teach them how to rally yourself a village. Like that's what I was talking about. Like, how do you create a safe space for yourself? Because some people don't know what safe
But
people
you know
are.
what? Sometimes creating a safe space for yourself does mean eliminating people who
Yeah,
are tied to you that way. So
Yeah.
that's like a whole nother episode right there
it
in itself,
is.
because like I
That's
said, with that whole your
Because we
mama,
could
your
all go
sister,
deep
your
into
cousin,
that.
yeah, because
yeah,
if
you
you
know what I'm
use
saying?
the
That's a
if
whole nother.
you don't know how to identify toxic behaviors and you used to being around toxic people, so your village be like all these toxic people. So you might be used to being around bullies. So you
Mm-hmm.
used to people taking advantage of you all the time, or you used to being around no good niggas. So you used to, it be all kind of stuff,
And
and
as
you
soon
just be
as
like,
and
why do
the
my life
moment you
suck?
find your worth, the moment you find your peace, the moment you decide that you are creating this barrier that you will not allow yourself to succumb to this toxicity, you become the problem in everybody's
Yeah.
eyes. It is still
And it just
black
ain't, no, I ain't the
toxic
problem. I
behavior.
just ain't easy to
So
play with. I'm not one of
I'm
them.
not.
Right.
And then, but it's like at some point, once you find the peace and the clarity that you
And that's
get,
when I be like, you know what? Maybe I am the
your
problem.
vision
I
don't even
don't
allow you
belong
to
here.
see
It's
past that
me.
toxic
I'm
shit.
going to remove me because maybe I am the problem. I don't belong here. I don't fit in here. This is not the space for me. So maybe
No
I am the
more.
problem.
No
But
Now
it's
more.
what?
okay to walk
I'm going to
away.
remove
And
me.
it's
It's
okay
okay
to
to walk
elevate,
away.
and it's okay to grow, and it's okay to
That's
become
the goal.
a bigger
That's the
version
goal.
of yourself that you used to be. That's
That's the
fine. No hard
goal.
feelings. I ain't beefing. We ain't got to beef. We just don't align anymore.
Right.
And it's
And
like
that's
people
okay
don't
because we
grow,
have to grow. I don't
but
want to be the person that
everybody
was yesterday.
everybody
When
can't
I wake
handle
up
growth.
tomorrow, this girl I am sitting in this chair today, I don't want to be her tomorrow. I want to be her 2.0 tomorrow.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
For real.
Hey,
Like,
on
we're
common
not
sense.
supposed to stay the same. If you're staying the same person you've always, I'm afraid of you, first of all. I don't trust you.
Well,
You too comfortable being who you. I can't trust you.
you
Your
might
judgment sucks.
you might be a bot.
Your judgment suck, your vision suck, your elevation
Yeah,
suck.
like I can't trust you. I don't want to be.
Right.
Get somebody else to do it. I'm cool. Anyways, all right, y'all. We done went on and on and on. Tonight was like everything it needed to be and then some. So I really, really appreciate y'all for coming on and tuning in with us today as we kind of tap into bullying and the effects that it have on our youth and adults for that matter. So we really appreciate the time you spend here with us today. We hope to see you guys next week where we might go ahead and tap into this toxicity and how it affects us within our relationships with family, friends, relationships, all of that. So you're gonna have to watch us to find out. We look forward to seeing you guys. It's all love. If you or someone you know or love is experiencing bullying or any type of suicidal thoughts or behaviors, please, please, please reach out to someone. Like I stated in our disclaimer, you can reach out to 988, which is a suicide crisis line, or reach out to someone who you do deem as your safe space. This episode was for entertainment purposes, although we do have the expertise of our licensed professional, Siobhan Jones. You know, we are still not diagnosing or giving any medical advice personally. So if you know someone or you are someone that is experiencing these feelings, these emotions, or anything that you deem you need to talk about, please, please, please reach out to someone. Talk about it. So thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. See you later. Bye.
Bye.